And then
That's it. So are we good?
can you see the Zoom on the projector?
Yes. I see Marty.
Okay, and how about audio? Are you on the Zoom?
Hello?
No, no,
I can
I'm
hear
sorry.
you.
Yeah, she's here.
She can hear.
Okay. So my thing is like, can people hear her here?
Because I can put my volume up.
The V-nex, the mic is weird. Oh, okay. Okay. So, oh, on the Zoom. Okay. Yeah, but it has a Zoom LT. Is that what you're talking about? The Zoom LT? No. Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Uh huh. Okay. No. 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 I think I can hear.
Pero Marty's not going to be able to see anybody, right?
No, Marty's not gonna be able to see anybody, right?
Monday.
Okay. Oops. Yes. Clear?
Okay.
All right, I'm calling our meeting to order. The Residence meeting, today's January 23rd, 2025. And I'm gonna go ahead and ask for invocation to pledge allegiance, invocation of Linda will help us out with that, and Luca, will you do the pledge of allegiance? And did I note that it was 5:37 p.m.?
Heavenly Father, I ask that you bless everyone here in this meeting today and everyone dealing with any difficulties in their lives. Please bless us with wisdom and knowledge to get through this meeting. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Roll call. Davila Guillen, present. Linda Davila. Present. Mario Mendez.
Present.
Fred Lopez is absent. Ediel Barrera.
Present.
Jose Garza.
Present.
And David Reyna.
Present.
All right. Looks like we've got a quorum. We'll move on to item number 3 on the agenda, which is the conflict of interest reminder. If you have any conflict to disclose regarding any items on the agenda, please do so now and or before taking a vote during that segment of the meeting. Item number 4 on the agenda is public forum. Do we have anyone signed up to speak before the board?
No.
Okay. So then we'll move on to item number 5, which is approval of minutes from the previous meeting. I'll give you a moment to look those over. And when you're ready, I'll need a motion for approval. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion for approval of minutes as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries. Item number 6 is the financial report.
Yes, in your packet is updated information on the sales tax deposits. So we have up to January listed on that month, and we can see that there's an increase. And in comparison to the previous year, there's also displaying an increase. So from month to month, it's a 3.78%, and from year to date, it's a 9.4. I know our finance director's here to join us as well. But if we go through the rest of the packet, starting on page 16, we'll see the EDC budget and where we're at as far as the percentage of the budget. So we're at 25% of the fiscal year. And overall budget percentages, we're at 8.46%. So there's still some projects that we're working on. I know that we're went out for bid for the Los Velas Road, and we had those bids presented to us yesterday. So we'll probably be moving forward with that project. It bid within the budget that we had allocated for that project. So we'll start spending some of those monies. Also, we started with a small business boost grant, so we're ready to pay some of those out tomorrow. We'll be giving out 3. So we'll start seeing some of the monies being used at a faster rate to kind of get us through the remainder of the budget year. Also included is the Main Street budget. So you'll see the totals where we're at with the Main Street budget. So we're within track to spending the monies. We're also working on several projects. We started with a new 5 new members to our Main Street board, and we talked about completing the projects in the work plan, so everybody received a copy of that. And on page 20, you'll see a copy of the statement, our Visa card statement, with the detail on the transactions on page 21. And these were done during the month of November and December, and most of them were for the holidays. And one of those purchases, we had the commercial investment tour, so we purchased some pastries and things for that. Is there any questions on the financial report?
I will just make mention that it's important that we are looking at, the staff scheduling for overtime purposes. I know we're a quarter into the fiscal year and have a significantly high percent of the budget already allocated to overtime. Just make sure that we're aware and monitoring that
Yes.
Carefully.
And I've already spoken to the staff about the overtime. We still have that issue of them getting paid overtime when it was a holiday. And in addition, the beginning of our budget is when the holidays start. So we worked a lot of events because we have a lot of holiday events. But since then, it's pretty much, we haven't had any overtime since the holidays
And
events.
the budget doesn't reflect that change that was reported at the last meeting.
No.
So we'll see that.
Come down a little
come down
bit, yeah.
some, but just, be mindful, we don't wanna overwork our staff or overextend them either, but wherever they need to work in excess of regular hours,
Yes.
that we do so within the constraints that we have in our budget. But I know that administration looks at that, so.
Yes, and we were, also waiting for some of the positions of the city to be filled, and our Main Street coordinator had been out on maternity leave, so we had to take over for some of these positions and some of these events and things, just because we want to continue with everything that we had planned. So now that our coordinator is back here with us, thank goodness, full time, and we have a PR person, it has lessened the burden on the staff that we unfortunately had to place on them because we were shorthanded. But at this point, everyone is back to normal scheduled programming, and we've been able to have the employees flex whenever there's those occurrences that we have to work after 5 and weekends and such. But we're doing really good.
And as far as sales tax go, 9% increase year to date is good. I know that recently the comptroller reported, pretty good sales tax revenues for the state, and the ones for the valley were also reported in the Rio Grande Guardian. It's really neat to show how how the economy is going in the Rio Grande Valley, very positive in Rio Grande City. So, thanks to our businesses you know, that positive, experience in the local economy. So I don't have anything else to say other than things are going great with the sales tax. And then of course, I know we're still early in our budget, but let's just make sure that we're aware of all of our expenditures.
Yes.
Anything else, any other questions, Mario?
No.
Well, this is just for a report, so, there's no action necessary there. Item number 7 is our executive director's report.
Yes, so in your packet is a listing of some of the projects and the updates. I know last meeting we had a lengthy agenda, so we didn't get through the report. So this will give you updates on some of the different projects and some of the things that we're dealing with to get the projects moving along. So this department has been working closely with our public utilities department to try to work on improved water pressure for our businesses and some of the ones that are expected to come in. We completed the public safety building drainage improvement project. That got completed. I was able to walk through the property, and what I will say is closest to the outlet that reaches the creek, we can already identify that there may be some erosion issues, so that's something that we want to look into. I worked with our public works director, Hector Barrera, and the engineers. We were out there trying to come up with an idea to lessen that erosion in that area, because the whole property there is very sandy. So any strong rains is going to significantly erode that area where that outlet is at. So we need to work on some type of landscaping or things like that to help preserve it, because we spent a significant amount of money to complete this project, and the last thing we want to do is just walk away from it, right? So
Did the engineers identify anything like that in the plans for it? I imagine when they inspected the property, they would have encountered the terrain and...
The terrain, when they worked on that property, it had trees and brush and whatnot. So all of that property was cleaned out to do this property, and that's how we got to see all that sand once it was cleaned out.
So the engineers, have they proposed some form of erosion control?
At this point, no, but I can work with them so that we can devise a plan. They did offer some suggestions as far as trying to grow some grass and things like that in that area. But I asked them, is that gonna grow through the sand, or because it's literally very sandy?
Has that project been fully paid?
I think that has not been fully paid yet at this time. They've submitted the pay applications, but they have to go through the city commission for approval since they're over the 5,000. So that'll be placed on the city council meeting for next week. But as far as a contractor, they've completed their work, their scope of work.
And the inspections and everything?
Yes, they've submitted.
Yes.
Yes, they've submitted all of the closing documents to close out that project.
I'd like us to hear more about that erosion occurrence on the property, you know, the exterior of the property, so that we're having to, you know, if we're having to go in there and do anything, that we tackle it on early and not wait until we lose all that.
And that's something that I need to discuss also with the property owner, because where that outlet is located, that belongs to the developer. Because our public safety subdivision ends, and then we remember we got that easement to do the remaining portion of that project. So it's not our property, but it's our infrastructure on there. So obviously I would like to get the owner, the developer, involved as well, to get any permissions we
From
need.
the outlet, you still have several 100 feet towards the arroyo, or?
No, it's right,
or
so
it's right there?
the public safety subdivision ends at some point, and then there's still a piece of property,
A gap.
a gap that does not belong to the EDC, that we got an easement for so that we could continue that drainage project. So the outlet is right where the creek is at. And then I had Public Works clean out the creek because there was a lot of growth there where it was gonna ultimately come out. And then we cleaned out, I had them clean out the section of the drain that was original to the public safety building, since it had been closed off. There was a collection of a lot of mud and dirt in there, so I said, we already have this nice clean drain, let's clean our section so that we don't have any issues with the water draining out through there. And they did the testing and all of it worked, which was good, but I just wanted to make sure that the drain was clean and that it remains clean so that it works effectively. But that's an update on the drainage project. So the Los Velas Road, like I mentioned earlier, we had the bid opening yesterday. We had 4 bidders, so the engineer is still looking at that. We'll give a recommendation to this EDC board. We did have a bid that was within the expected budget cost that the engineer had submitted. And they're calling references and checking out all the listings to make sure that they're good to go. And then our Villanueva subdivision, the DHR Medical Plaza is getting some work done. They're already working on several of those buildings, and the last permit that was issued was for the research center. That's on lot 1, and this is a 12,893 square foot facility with a construction valuation of 1.8 million. So actively, they're working on 3 buildings, and there's also 1 other permit in the process. So before we know it, we'll have 4 buildings there. And then we got the news about Little Caesars moving to 3167. This is in the Dollar Tree Plaza, so they're working on that. Ross has received their finish out permit with an anticipation that they'll finish all the interior work between 30 to 45 days, and at that point they'll bring in the merchandise. And going back discussing about the sales tax revenues, we saw a huge jump in our sales tax when Marshall's came into town, so we're anticipating that when Ross opens its doors, we'll also see a significant increase to our sales tax.
Are you getting regular reports, Leonel, for sales tax activity?
Am I getting the wrong, sorry?
Are you getting the user sales tax activity reports?
No, I haven't received those in a while. We put them in the
Comptrollers,
I would recommend that you request them on a regular basis so you can see and monitor those trends more specifically to those users.
Yeah, I think legal had already requested for us to do them on a quarterly basis as
Yep.
well, so.
That's the recommendation. That way we can see what the impact that store and any other users or outlets in the city contribute.
and then IHOP officially opened and has invited all of us to their ribbon cutting set for January 30th at 10 a.m. So hopefully all of y'all can join us for that. If you pass by 83, you'll see that the McDonald's on the west side also, they're working
Real quick.
on that construction, and my kids can't wait. So yes, we're looking
Mine
forward
neither.
to having more restaurants on that side of town, and it seems like it's finally coming, so we're excited about that. And then the application for our downtown revitalization program, we'll see that on the city council meeting for them to approve the contract for the administrative work that will be done by GrantWorks, and that'll take us to the next step to prepare us for the bidding documents for engineering and eventually the construction. And this is to rehab the Britain Avenue in downtown, and there's a plan to move the monument that's there right now. So I'll be working closely with them on where that relocation will be, but it will no longer be
In the
laying
center
down.
of the.
Yeah, it will no longer be in the center because we need to accommodate some walking space, but it will no longer be laying down, which is the way it is right now. And then the Hill Country Drive extension, I attended the planning meeting because there was a replat of Lot 1B. We have a meeting on January 30th with the owner. That'll take place after that IHOP ribbon cutting to discuss that in more detail. So they're going to give us the additional 25 feet, then we can move forward with that. grant application. And as far as International Drive, I took that course, and also we received the updated budget. I'm just waiting on confirmation from the City Commission if we're going to move forward with that project and how the cost will be budgeted. As far as the Small Business Boost Grant, we are ready to issue out 3 checks tomorrow. That'll be for Magic Creations, Fine Lane Barbershop, and Angry Burgers. There's been some interest for the Main Street Facade Grant. I've already given out a few of those applications, and I'm working with these property owners on the specifications on how we want those quotes. So I was able to use your sample, Mr. Reina, so appreciate that, and I think it's helped them better understand what we're looking for when we're reviewing these
So do
applications.
we have a template already that we're using for that?
Yes, Mr. Dana was able to provide me a sample, so I'm providing that this is how we want the.
So is that like a standard form for us already? Or you're just
No.
giving them that?
I'm just giving
As
them
a
that
guide.
as a sample, as a guide. This is what we're looking, give this to your contractor, and we want the work broken up in this manner. Because they might already have their own invoices with their information, but this is what we're looking for. Okay, so I'll be working with those owners once they submit those applications. Also, I reached out to a few agencies. I should be taking a meeting tomorrow for the Historic Downtown Strategic Plan. This was requested through our city commission, our mayor, wanting us to look for an agency that'll help us come up with a 5-year plan in preparation for the construction of the state loop, so that we can go after grant opportunities and projects to help us better market and promote our downtown. And as far as our heritage tourism, our Main Street has been busy. They were up at the Winter Texan Expo at the McAllen Convention Center just this week, promoting a variety of tours where we would typically do the historic tour. Now we have the historic tour. We're doing the sip and see tour with the winery. And now we're working on a tour with the city of Roma, so that when some of these tourists come, they can see Rhode Island and Roma during their trip. So we're excited that we have more to offer through our trolley. And we've set some dates aside already, and they were promoted at that event. And ahorita when we get our Main Street report, we'll get a little bit more information on that. As far as the events, we're working on the annual Employer Expo and Job Fair. I know they are at states tentatively, but we have already solidified the date for February 27th, and this will take place at the STC. We work with our local workforce solutions, our public library, and the EDC to host this job fair, and we're looking at having 30 plus different employers looking to hire at that event. We'll also have a seminar on interview skills so that they're better prepared, and that'll take place that same day, that morning from 9 to 10. So we're gonna have a small breakfast, we'll have the seminar, and then from 10 on, they can go and meet with these businesses and see if they can land a job that day. That's our ultimate goal. And while they're there, they get to take a headshot and take that home. They get to get a free haircut, and they get to, also for the ladies, get a makeup evaluation by Merle Norman. So all of these places have confirmed and will be helping us at the event, and STC has confirmed to lend us their venue to host this event, which is a good place because they get some of the students out there and other individuals to come in and visit the campus. So it's a win-win for all of us. Also upcoming is Founders Day. We're working with the library to host an event Saturday, February 8th. We'll provide more details as they become available, and we're working on the next Main Street Market Day. We have it tentatively slated for March 15th at the downtown kiosk. And when we host that event, it's usually at no cost to the vendors. The only thing we ask them is for a $25 refundable deposit. And we're also gearing up for the state of the city, so we'll be working with the city on that. It's expected to take place in late February, if not early March. But once we have the date, we will share that along. And today, some of us were at the Acai social events for their ribbon cutting. A very beautiful venue out in 3167. IHOP has their ribbon cutting January 30th. And Nisi Auto Sales has theirs the following day, January 31st at 10 a.m. I've included just some updates on some of the construction projects for your viewing, and also some information on the grants. So you'll see that on page, we have a lot of updates and pictures on all the different events, but on page 37, that list has grown since we worked on this. But these are all the applications that we emailed. We have the completed ones, and we can add to that list. We have another applicant that's getting ready to be approved. They've already submitted all the information.
These
So
applications that have been emailed, has it been at the request of the applicant, or?
So what they do is they're calling our office, and I ask them a few questions to make sure that they qualify, and then I send the application.
So these applications that have been emailed have been initiated by the business?
Yes, they've called us.
Okay.
Yeah. They've called us, and then we have some just pending to submit some documentation, so we can get them through the approval process. And I'm assuming that we'll get to the goal of giving out these 10 grants very soon, because most of them are just missing.
And this is
One or two
mainly
deadlines.
through social media that you're getting the feedback?
Yes, and then I did an interview with Channel 5,
Oh, okay.
so that brought in like a few callers too. So that helped. So yeah, we're doing the social media and the news and our website. So, and every business that I go to, I went to go eat at a restaurant and I was asking them like, hey, we have this grant, so.
Do you make
some of
more
it
than
is just word of
100,000?
mouth.
Do you make more than 100,000? Okay, never mind.
What are your annual sales?
That'll be a weird question.
So I recommend you all do the same.
Yeah.
If you go visit a business and you
I
think,
shared it on Facebook and I got a lot of messages on
you
it.
see, yeah, so help us spread the word. And then they've asked like, okay, once you give out the 10, what's gonna happen? I'm like, we're gonna ask for more money.
Well, I would be interested in, getting their feedback once they've completed the process, to give us their feedback as far as what their experience was in applying for and accessing those funds. Maybe if they're willing to share a brief testimonial as to how, that has impacted their business. Those are good, good to share with the board, good to share with the public, so that it encourages other businesses to come out and participate.
So what we did for now is we got not a super giant, but I got a check printed, like a big check. So when they come tomorrow to pick up their,
Percentage.
we're gonna take a picture.
It's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I let them know that. Vénganse peinados y todo.
I think it would be a really good idea to coordinate those check presentations at our EDC board meetings, so
Yep.
that.
We can all-
I didn't wanna
participate
hold
in the
off on
process.
giving them the money.
No, it's great.
Yeah, so that's
But,
why, I know that was the thing, like, we
Maybe
don't
they can
wanna
come back.
hold back or wait for another
At
month.
what time are the photos? Or what time are they coming in?
I think they start at 10 tomorrow, right, Adriana? 9:15, and then the last one's and then one at 11, yes. Because we kind of worked with their schedule too. They're running a business, and when can they come in? So
Yeah, I think you could still release a check and do a photo op at the next meeting. You'll be surprised, they might even come here to say thank you for helping us. But if we can engage and interact with these businesses, I think it's in the best benefit of the.
yeah, and we kind of wanted to do it that way so that we could put it out in our newsletter and help further promote this opportunity.
Please try to promote it as the advantages of this one, because he just took one meeting, we approved it. The next meeting, we're giving checks.
Giving out money, yeah.
So that was,
I know that was the whole purpose, that's why we kind of did it this way. But yes, I'll definitely ask if they want to come to our next EDC board meeting and give their testimonial.
Yes.
I think that could work. And then on page 38, just an update on the work plan. So if you recall, this is a work plan that we approved when we went through our budget, and just wanted to give you all an update on some of that. So at the time, we had approved 15,000 for the small business grant project, and so those monies will be coming out of there. Because I know the last time we talked about us needing to make a budget adjustment and whatnot, so for the time being, we're getting the monies out of that project, because it was a small business grant project, so it aligns with what we're doing. And some of our third payment for the St. Ives, actually our fourth payment, I believe, has already been sent out, and we're working on the CO payment as well, so that just gives you an update on some of the monies that we allotted for some of the projects and where we're at with it. And then I think on the Main Street, you won't see it listed there, but once we get to the Main Street report, I also provided an update on their work plan. So you can know where we're at with the Main Street projects, because that's separate. It's under the EDC budget, but it's separate from our work plan.
So the St. Ives project isn't yet reflected on our budget that we saw earlier. our
Probably
expense
not,
report.
because,
So maybe we'll see it
on the next one.
at the next one. Okay.
That's for the CO, but the other one was due, it's the
The
one
one
that we
for
worked
St.
on,
Ives?
for St. Ives. It was due in December, but we were gonna pay it off this month, because we need to have a city meeting to get it approved.
Okay.
I just have a quick question on the, I guess I'm assuming it's a 380 agreement with Home 2 by Hilton. Is there a deadline for the owner or developer to actually start the work, or there's none?
Is there a what?
A deadline or time frame where, as far as when they said that they need to start the project? Because I'm assuming on the 380 agreement, we already allocated some of these funds to this project?
So
We didn't allocate money in this current budget, because
It'll
they
be for the
haven't
next
started.
budget.
right, so this one here that we see in this work plan is something that is payable to the individual or to the group. Is it within a year, or is it sales tax based? I don't.
So through the EDC, we were gonna reimburse him some infrastructure costs, and then through the city, they were gonna reimburse him some hotel occupancy tax. So the majority of that agreement is actually with the city on the hotel occupancy tax. What the EDC was gonna assist with was 111,000.
You're talking about the 380 for the
H2.
Brandon commercial or?
No, for the
H2?
H2.
For H2, I'm sorry.
So I didn't place it on this budget, because he hasn't started.
That's right, we talked about it when we set this budget, that because we didn't have a definitive start date for him and there is no date on that contract to begin, then we would just come back if we needed to. If we came in this fiscal year with a payment due, then we would go ahead and modify our budget to do so. But as in the report that we received earlier, there is no start date for the project, so.
And we're still having to work out some water pressure issues there, so quite honestly, we're lucky he hasn't started.
And that's something I had made a note to come back to, because I know that in visiting IHOP, that there was concerns about the water pressure at the restaurant. And as we're all working to attract more business to the city, particularly to that development, we need to make sure that we express, this to the city commission, that we need to come up with a solution. I know this has been a problem from the very onset. I know that there's some proposed solutions here in our report.
Yes.
And hopefully that'll help boost it, because right now we only have a restaurant we added to the property, but if you're looking at a hotel and additional restaurants and stores, that's really going to to be a problem. If we don't get ahead of it, we're
Yes.
gonna have a,
We're working on it, and
So we
it's
do
it's a number one priority right now.
Right,
As a
right.
matter of fact, Ms. Hernandez is involved with Mr. Milan, and yes, we're finalizing the final details, and we have a plan in action that we're gonna execute very, very soon.
Yes, so we have almost a closer solution that'll identify and help us with the water pressure issue. And then we were earmarked some funding through HUD to do an east water loop, but we understand that those projects take a significant amount of time before they get to construction. So this other solution that Mr. Barrera was able to get some individuals together is gonna be a quicker fix of this problem. And we worked with an engineer, and we think that it's just, some finalizing on some permissions, but that'll help us significantly in that area.
in the meantime, IHOP is adding a booster to their property to help. But again, it's very concerning when we go to these new businesses and so early in the process, they're experiencing issues.
Right.
And I know it's hard to on both, the city and the EDC to have everything 100% ready, but it's important that we prioritize this infrastructure. Sometimes people don't understand that when we're putting our investment in the ground, there's a reason for it, because we don't want to encounter those delays or those disruptions to the local economy.
And I think that our current city commission inherited this issue, because when this development started, all of that should have already been in place.
Yes.
Because they had a master plan, they knew what they were gonna bring into this subdivision, so the fact that the developer didn't have this infrastructure in place or work with the city appropriately, now we're inheriting this problem and trying to catch up. And that's why, we feel like pressured to come up with a solution, but again, we've inherited a problem that should have been better planned out.
At least there's a proposal for a solution.
Yes.
As 3167 sees activity and more commercial activity, let's not forget that that's also important, that whatever infrastructure needs to be updated and maintained. I know there's some water projects out in that area. But before, we start really growing, that we're ready for that growth. And we're open and honest with these businesses, because they're investing millions of dollars into our community. And we just want to make sure that they have the best experience.
Well, we just closed on a water project in December, so that's gonna help us significantly with the water pressure and water rights, which we're needing as well to keep up with the demand. So that we're making significant strides to stay ahead of the game, I can see that that is the case now, definitely.
That's important. Any other comments, observations? And I think that there's a lot of activity reported today, and that's good. I'm excited to see the businesses receiving these grant monies, and that there's a growing list of interested applicants. Again, I would love to hear feedback from them as far as their experience, so that we can improve and refine our processes wherever we can.
I do have another comment, and two. The first one, it's we have another party place, and it's very nice. We just went to the grand opening, so it was really good. It's small but very cozy. So
Sometimes you need something smaller. You don't need the big.
yeah, and it's in a very nice place. So, and then number two, also on here in the report for the international drive, that's also number two in our priority. We were discussing today I was discussing with Mr. Milan about the number one, which was the water pressure of that development. And yes, we have a plan in action, and it's coming through very, very soon. Hopefully by the next meeting, it's on item number one to be exact. And then for me, it's also already it's already in my head, this international drive. We have been discussing it for 4 or 5 meetings, and we should come up with something. So at least we already know that it's a 1.2 million, right? That we need to come up with. So the negotiations are already on the table. So I was hoping to have a number for us today here, but I didn't. So now we're gonna have to jump it to the next level where it's it's urgent, to be honest with, because it's taking forever. TxDOT is waiting. We have the funds, and so I think we should take it to the next level and have a set date. Hey, we need to know the amounts because we need to take a decision like ASAP, in my opinion. Number one, because we cannot be talking about the same thing over and over, like Mr. Reina mentioned the last time. And number two, the now I'm feeling like a game from the other part. Like we can give you 200, we can give you 300. No, this is serious. This is professional. We're all professionals. We don't want to be waiting for it. So either we accept it or reject it. It's gonna help us with drive with our traffic. Yes, it's gonna help the industrial development. Yes, so let's just move forward, but also be considerate on the amount that we will have to put in case nobody wants to pitch in. We already made some approach to the county, and I don't think we're gonna have good news there. So we're just waiting on the other party to see how much, and then we take the decision if the EDC by ourselves put whatever money is left, but we have to take into consideration the amount of money that we have. I don't see that it's healthy spending 60, 50, 70% of our budget just on one project like that. Is not gonna bring the revenue as we expected, you know. So for me, this is honestly like our number one priority, and maybe we can discuss it and see if we make the approach ourselves, because obviously the third parties that are involved are not cutting it. So
Any investment on our part that goes into infrastructure that's gonna further growth of business in our community is a feather in our cap. And if no one wants to be part of that, and we're sole rangers in that process, well then so be it. This community deserves nothing but responsible decisions on our part, and so we have to come up with the best solution to finance our projects.
so let's see how can we fix it, because I think it's too much, in my opinion. Again, this is Ediel Barrera talking.
And I'm happy to hear that there's a priority on infrastructure, whether it be our water, wastewater, or roadways. I think that we've seen a significant investment in our public security, and now it's time to really put an eye on these infrastructure-related projects that are going to help our community grow.
Mr. Milan and me went to went to the FAR State of the City, and we met the architect and the developer for the industrial place here, and they were excited, but they're also waiting for the decision. They're waiting. We talked to them and we were discussing some stuff, and I told them it's on our agenda today. We want to fix it as well. So again, let's try to come up with a plan, and we can discuss it and take action, because I would really want to have it on the next agenda as to vote on it, and to discuss it and make it a reality if it's gonna happen. And again, it's just we have to take it into consideration, the amount. Like I go based on percentages, right? Do we want to stay with just 50% because we want to spend on something, or what? So, but that's something for the future. I just want to let you know what I feel about these, and that I met these people, and that we have negotiations, but we haven't had we haven't finalized them. So
Well, hopefully we can meet your expectation and have some action items for the next meeting.
Yes.
It's gonna require the meetings of the minds to get together and put
Workshop,
together the
Linda's
best-
recommending maybe we have a workshop just on that
We
The what?
could,
item. Linda's recommending we have a workshop just on that item.
that could be, that could be an option as long as this board is available to listen. I think it's very important that this board be briefed on, you know, the project in general. I think there's still some doubt or even questions about where exactly is this project located? What are the limits? So
What's it gonna look like?
what's it gonna look like? What's the data behind it? So
Yeah,
if
why
maybe
not?
before
I
the
agree
next
with Ms.
meeting we
Linda.
have a workshop
Let's
that
invite,
we-
let's invite all the ones involved. Hey,
So
this,
yes.
we're ready.
So we can make the decision, so that way the board's well informed, and then we make the decision, and we won't have a long discussion at the meeting.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Ms. Hernandez, can,
Yes.
what?
I'll work on contacting TxDOT. They did reach out to me recently wanting an update on this project. So I can respond that the board is wanting to have a workshop, if someone can be present to fully brief them on the project and the process, the cost, and how much upfront we need to.
But all that, you gave it to us on the last meeting, right? Those $4 million
I gave you the
were approved.
proposed,
Yeah, but,
budget.
and we could only use $3 million of those four, right? Because it was only for construction.
Mm-hmm.
So the remaining is on local investors and our EDC, the city. So those
Someone
are the
needs
ones.
to make themselves responsible for the project, and it's coming to the city, to this EDC. I did
have-
ask if we had other individuals help pay for it. They said that's fine, but you'd still, if that would alter the agreement in any way, and they said, no, you still sign the agreement. If you get monies from the county or the bridge owner, you do that on your own, in your own agreement.
I was thinking, because I've never asked these and I was never told these, but for a road, regardless if it was because it was gonna bring revenue or we were gonna build industrial facilities, like how did the EDC ended up responsible for these? Because in my eyes, I mean, I'm not an expert on these, but in my eyes, it's more like a city takes that thing with the investors. I don't know how the EDC ended up the one responsible for it. Like
I think you started this project in 2018? And that
2018?
was with Mrs. Guillen, so I think she could
Like,
give a better
how?
answer.
So any and all dollars that we invest are for the promotion and expansion of business. And so a roadway, a commercial roadway
Okay.
is an example of that. An infrastructure project that is going to develop and grow business in our community is one of those investments. So way back when we entertained this project, those monies were made available. The city could spend it too if they chose to, but maybe at the time the city did not have the funds available. And I'm gonna be quite honest, the city looks at the EDC for these types of investments. Anytime that there's going to be an investment in supporting business expansion or business recruitment, they're gonna turn to the EDC. So that's essentially.
Is that like a normal rule in other cities?
Well,
or is-
the city's foregoing 25% of the sales tax to give to the EDC. So at the end of the day, all the money is the city's. It's
Yes,
just
yes,
we're
yes.
allotting 25% for the EDC. So yes, if we see a project that meets that criteria, well, you're gonna get it from the EDC because that's the intention of sending the money that way.
Just like monies for tourism come out of the tourism budget, just like monies for parks come out of the parks budget. Monies for projects that are going to create jobs and business come out of the EDC.
Have these CDC worked on something similar in the past or no? Like on a road?
Apparently, the last time they got an AFA, which is what this is, it was to pave Flores and Navasolo Street.
Okay.
But that was done through the city.
So the EDC was not involved.
No, because you weren't creating any business, you were just
Yes.
repaving and one-waying those streets, because if you recall, you used to be able to drive both ways on.
And I'm just thinking because I represent both entities here and the city, and I was like,
You could have made the argument that you were making improvements to enhance the business. There are businesses along Flores, several,
Yes.
that I can think of right now. Why the city chose not to do it then,
okay.
we don't know. But in this particular case, for this particular project, they look toward the EDC.
Well,
for
right now
that.
the city, and I can talk on behalf of the other commissioners and the city itself, that we have the same mentality as the EDC. We want the best, right? And we have the same goal. So maybe I don't want the EDC to take advantage of the city. I don't want the city to take advantage of the EDC. So I just want like to have a mutual agreement between the two entities. That way we don't run out of gas on the EDC or funds, and the city also can be okay helping if it's necessary, because I don't know how he feels. I don't know how he feels. I don't know. I called Mr. Lopez today just to ask him, hey, how? Because I don't know, and he couldn't explain me, and so that's why I asked.
Going back to Linda's point, that I think it's important with this new EDC and this new city commission that we be fully briefed on this project through a workshop.
Yeah.
And if it can be done jointly, that's best. We can have all our questions answered at one time and space. And that will bring everybody up to speed.
I agree.
Decisions moving forward, well.
Yeah, because this is extremely important.
Yeah.
It is.
And we got an orientation before coming together as a board at the very beginning, but it was a very brief, overview. There wasn't a project-specific orientation on some of this stuff. So if you've never seen it, up until now, we're still talking about it. I think it's important that we have a workshop.
Okay.
Bring out the maps, bring out the experts,
I agree.
and see what those pathways are to get to where we want to go.
Okay.
So that's the next charge, is to get a workshop together.
And that way we can make a decision at the next meeting.
Yes.
And we're informed.
That way we can do it. I mean, just work with our schedules and maybe an afternoon.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it can be a joint workshop, so we can have the city commission.
Yes,
there.
yes, of course.
Because we need their blessing as well for anything that the EDC does. Yes. Holy water and everything.
Right.
Ms. Hernandez.
Because I just know what's been
Peace be with
presented.
you.
I don't have the full picture.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
I just need to be more informed, to be able to make an informed decision.
And all I saw was $0.00000.
this one.
Let's do that. Let's have a workshop so that we can have all our questions answered, or as many as we
I
can.
like it. We can, yes, I'll work on that.
All right, is there any other question regarding this report on the EDC? No? So we'll move along to the Main Street report. I did ask that we receive a thorough report from the EDC only because, one, we have Ms. Yandeli back, and two, there's a whole new board that she's working with, so this is why I felt it was important to have this section today.
Yes, and we have with us one of our, actually our vice president of our Main Street Board, Marcus Canales, with us today. And he's fresh and new, ready to give this report.
Very hardworking man.
Yes.
Good evening, Board. As you know, the Main Street had a meeting last week, and new Main Street Advisory Board members attended, me being one. The Main Street Coordinator went over a few activities that happened the previous month, which included the lighting of the Christmas tree, decorating the old fire station, and having the annual carols on Main Street, where the cheer team from La Union Elementary participated this year. The Main Street Coordinator submitted the quarterly report this month. The annual self-assessment report has also been submitted as well. Excuse me. The Main Street Coordinator and tour guide, Anita Reina, attended the Winter Texan Expo this past Tuesday and Wednesday, where they were promoting our historical trolley tours and our city, which also segues to the Sip and See, of which I participated, I believe it was a month or two ago, with the Bessie 3 and the Dos Rios Winery. And booking is available now. I believe there's 3 dates available for that. And any questions, comments?
Well, first and foremost, welcome to the Riverina City Main Street Advisory Board. You are undertaking a very passionate work of the city, which is to preserve our history and our downtown, and it's a very unique program, even though you have these Main Street programs all across the state. But what's unique to us, I think, is the passion of our local community to hang on to the jewel that we have, which is our, historic downtown. I drive through it every day, and I think, there's cities across the state that don't have it. Even though we might have buildings that are not so pretty, there are people from all across the world that come to Rio Grande to see them. And so your work on this advisory board is very much appreciated, and I hope that your first meeting was a good experience. We're here to hear from you on the ways that we can improve our downtown and work collaboratively to make those things happen. I'm happy to see that the downtown is going to have this accessibility project through this grant that just got approved. And that's going to be a really, really big deal for our downtown, because we have persons that need accessibility to our kiosco, to our Britain Avenue, to appreciate the monuments and the events that you host. So, thank you so much for serving, and we appreciate
Thank you.
your time and commitment to this community.
Thank you. Thank you to the board.
Welcome, sir.
And included there is the update on the work plan, so if you all have any questions on that, please let me know.
It all looks like pretty standard stuff. Has our trolley been serviced?
Yes.
Because we're about to do all these tours and.
Yes, so we were having some issues with the AC, and, well, it's working good now, right? The AC is,
And this partnership that we have with Roma, are they, are they asking for any of our collections of trolley tour fees? Is there any?
no. And we were selective with the date, so they get winter Texans out there as much as we do. Well, we might get a little bit more, right, because we offer the trolley, so it was really just a way that we could collaborate, and they're already making the trip out here. We might as well show them both Rio and Roma, so we've talked about this already for a few years now, about wanting to have a collective tour, so we selected a date. I know it was promoted at the Winter Texan Expo, so that way when these Winter Texans come and they travel this way, they can get more bang for their buck. We're gonna charge a little bit more because obviously it's more gas to get out there to Roma, and like I mentioned to Ms. Yandere, the bus is expensive to maintain, so I know that the trolley is not really a busy business for us. It doesn't generate tons of funds for us to operate, but it's a good way to get tourists out here and see our city, but it's not a moneymaker, in other words. The trolley's not a moneymaker for us, because compared to what we have to pay to service and pay the tour guide, I know that the driver, he's our driver and also our maintenance worker, so that works out. But it's just a way.
It's another service that we have.
Yeah,
It's
just
like
a way
having an
to-
employee, like having
Yes.
an extra employee.
Is there like a formal agreement, like an MOU with the city of Roma to do this, or is it just kind of on?
We're gonna take it like a case-by-case basis, and not something that we're gonna offer all the time, because they themselves don't have a tour guide per se. So we're not gonna be providing the tours for them, but their assistant city manager actually is the one that does the tours over there, so I was like,
Poncho.
interesting.
He's
So,
excellent.
he's really good, he's really great with the tourists, is what they were telling us that day that we met. So, based on his availability, right, because since they don't have designated staff for that. So we'll be working with them, and we wanted to at least have a date on the calendar where we would be offering this
I'll
tour.
go.
I know, that's what we said, so I said that.
To our board members to go.
No, we
and-
did discuss that at the meeting, so we said, if we don't sell all the tickets, we can invite the, as seat fillers.
How much are
So I was
the
like,
tickets?
okay,
We can buy our own tickets.
Yeah, how much are the tickets?
We actually
they're
have,
$20.
we have a few that are called to sign up for that one for the 20th.
I was gonna ask you, in the Winter Texan Expo, what was the feedback on this offering? The wine sipping?
Good for
Yeah.
both. I know I had one that signed up for both the Roma Rio and the Sip and See. And then I had many of them take the flyers, and I started getting calls today. And for the Rio Roma, I already have a few that have signed up.
Something that we can
So I said, if we don't make space in this one, I said, let's organize another one. And the city of Roma was like, yes, so that we can get our board and our commission.
But something that we can do, it's talk to our friends in FAR, in McAllen and Mission, and they have a lot of trips and they have a lot of things going on. Maybe they can offer them, bring them over here.
Yeah.
I'll make some phone calls
I
to
had
see.
someone that said that she was gonna make sure and see how many she can put together, but it was a park. So I said, if it's a park and it's a big party, make sure to give me a call as soon as you can, depending on the day that you want, because we can only fit so many.
Yeah.
So she hasn't called yet, but I did tell her, if it's gonna be a big party, go ahead and call as soon as you can.
You know, email or fax over the flyer to the activity directors at the senior park, at the
Yes,
Winter Texan
many
Park.
of them took several, because we had plenty of copies, and many of them took for their parks.
Yeah, so it was a great experience and it helps us promote Rio Grande City. We're amongst other cities that are out there promoting themselves, so they get to plan their trips while they're here. So there we are competing with South Padre Island. I'm like, we're better.
We just need the beach.
The beach is overrated, just come to Rio Grande.
Well, is there any other questions regarding the Main Street activity? I know that we have some flyers here,
Invitations.
invitations, these are announcements before adjournment. It's always really good to see our EDC represented at these events, so when you can, I know we're all busy people, but when you can make it out there, please do. And if you have questions regarding any upcoming events, I know Adriana sends out emails to everyone, letting us know. Thank you for.
Thank you, Adriana. That's real helpful.
Keeping us updated, so. All right, guys, well, this was very good. It is now 6:38 PM, and I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn, unless you all want to stick around longer.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Motion carries, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for coming out. Be ready for that workshop.
And we have some dinner for you at the EDC office.
Thank you.